I know this is an oldie, but all of the episodes before season 4 I'm still yet to review, so I thought I'd go back to where it all started, 2011, the episode The National Anthem, and review all the episodes that came after. Is the episode good? Is it worth watching? Let's find out. Before I go ahead, make sure you go over to my Twitter @brainpilot_ to see what I get up to outside of YouTube. And as well, there will be spoilers. Be prepared. So without further ado, I'm Brainpilot, and here is a review of Black Mirror Season 1, Episode 1, The National Anthem. It starts off and the Prime Minister Michael Callow receives a call informing him that the princess has been kidnapped. Straight off the bat, the story alone is extremely interesting. The idea that a royal has been abducted would make the whole nation grind to a halt and be glued to their screens just as the public were in the episode. Carrying on, we find out that the Prime Minister has to go through with the task if the princess is to be set free. And what is the task? Having sex with a pig. The idea of this is awful, but it 100% makes an interesting concept. From then on, the story is basically watching the Prime Minister panic about whether or not they're going to trace the kidnapper, and seeing how the public react, and what they expect him to do. But of course, they don't find the kidnapper, and he has to go through with it. Let me just say, whilst this episode was going on, there was this side story regarding a journalist who wanted the inside scoop on what was happening. But she was most definitely one of the most annoying characters in the entirety of the 4 seasons of Black Mirror. But I suppose that's what her character is supposed to be like, but she was extremely annoying. The ante gets upped when the Queen essentially says that Michael is f***ed if he doesn't go through with the act, so the stakes were so much higher later on in the episode. The fact that the 2 powerhouses in the UK are essentially up against each other despite being on the same side makes an interesting watch. It's the royals versus the politician, and who has more power in this situation? The royal. So off to have sex with the pig the Prime Minister goes. At this point you do feel for the character and want to see the kidnapper get caught. However, there is a part of you that's slightly intrigued about if he is going to have to go through with it, just as the members of the public in the episode were as well. Whilst the Prime Minister is preparing, his team are trying to find ways around it, such as superimposing a pig or something like that. But the kidnapper specified that it had to be real. Once all hope is lost, the act occurs and the Prime Minister has sex with a pig. The disgust on the public's face as they watch it happen and the emptiness on the streets emphasizes just how much it would hit national news, and how it would take center stage over every single thing that was happening, especially in this digital age that we live in, let alone back in 2011. At this point, let's not forget Rory's acting in the scene. Visually, you feel what he's feeling mentally, and that's disturbing to watch. Once the act is done and he's throwing up in the bathroom, you then find out that the kidnapper released the princess before the act was carried out, and that he killed himself. Meaning that Michael Callow didn't have to have sex with a pig after all. The absolute perfect Black Mirror twist to lay down the foundations of many to come. It leaves the Prime Minister's marriage in pieces behind closed doors and his life a mess. Overall, I would say that this original episode 7 years on has stood the test of time, and still ranks up higher with many of the new ones that have more complex storylines, higher budgets, and more well-known actors. Why? Because it has Black Mirror's core values at its heart. It may not be about a piece of technology ruining somebody's life, but it looks more at society and how we are glued to the screen and pay much more attention to that, which ultimately goes against us. Had the members of the public not all been inside, they would have seen the princess on the bridge on her own, and ultimately, he wouldn't have had to have sex with a pig. The performance from the cast, and Rory especially, was outstanding, and you feel every piece of emotion, such as the slight bit of relief that he has when he thinks the kidnapper has been located, the utter misery whilst he is having sex with the pig, and the stress throughout the whole of the episode. And that is something hard to pull off. Despite the episode not being my favourite, I give it the respect that it deserves, and I see why so many people love it. What did you think of the National Anthem? Is it your favourite episode? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.